So what is up, guys? You got your boy Stingren here today, and today we're back with some reverse 1999 content, and today we're here to talk about Semmelweis. Forgive me if my voice does sound a little bit gone. I am kind of sick, not really, just have a bit of a sore throat, and I lost a bit of my voice as of doing so. So if I sound a little bit low, apologies. I'll try turning up the audio in the edit so that way I can sound a little bit better. But hey, let's get right into it. Let's talk about Semmelweis. Let's talk about Suji Pool because her banner was just announced as a rerun banner. And let's get right into Semmelweis. Alright, so we're here to talk about Semmelweis. This is what she looks like. These are her stats below. And I'm going to talk about how you should play her normally and talk about her as a main DPS as opposed to a sub. I will bring up points about her sub DPSing capabilities because people do still run her as a sub from time to time. But she has been getting a lot more popular now as a main DPS, and I'll explain why in just a moment. So the general TLDR, if you're doing main DPS, Semmelweis is just to use her buff effective means. Using her buff will either grant her or an ally of your choice will grant her the Flesh Blood buff, which will give them crit rate plus 50% to their specific actions and make them lose 5% of their own HP, which is really nice. Now, for sub DPS, you will probably pass this off to just whatever DPS you want, which is perfectly fine. And that's, just the general TLDR of that. But if you pass it up to Semmelweis for main DPSing, that's really good because she already wants to be a little lower HP because of her array field and because of how her follow-up works with her follow-up effect. So if you do want to go main DPS, which I recommend more over sub DPSing, again, I would just say start with buff and then hit with the signature floppy. Thanks to her inheritances, you get ultimate literally turn 2 at the start of the match, which is good. That's really good. Now from that point forward, you do want to consider using 2 actions for Semmelweis every single time. So that means either you want to use double signature floppy or just replenish her buff if you need to. Then just kind of go from there. The main reason why is because you want to stay in your array field blood domain as much as you possibly can. Now you can let it fall off. There's no real detriment, like for Liang Yu for example, there's no detriment to losing the array effect with Semmelweis. It just means that the array field just goes away, that's it. But if you have the 5 Moxie, you can just wait till it falls off and then just reapply it, or you can use it when it's like 1 turn remaining, reapply it. It doesn't extend the buff or anything, it just puts it back up to 3 turns. So it's still a thing. It just really just comes up to what you personally prefer. Honestly, I like to let it just go off because at the end of the day, that's considerably 3 follow-ups instead of just 2, because you're losing a turn because you're putting back up the array field essentially. But there's an also slightly benefit to using the ult while your array field is still active, and that's because it consumes everyone's HP, which actually, because of her inheritance 3, boosts up the modifier effectively up to 120%, because with the 4-man team and everyone losing HP, that's basically a big stack of damage there for the modifier. So that basically turns your truth reveal from a base 80% modifier to a 200% modifier on follow-up, which is something that you can look to do, but there is still ways for you to effectively lose a lot of HP and actually reach high levels of this effect for the Feral Instinct effect. So there's that. But generally, TLDR, for where you want to play Semmelweis, is you want to just keep funneling your Moxie as much as you can. If you could have a unit that could battery Moxie to her too, that's also still viable as well. That's also really good. So let's talk about her cube choices. So cube choices, Semmelweis actually has a lot of cube choices, to be completely honest. Her best option is going to be the cube that's in roguelike. Gonna be completely honest with you, I don't like the roguelike mode all that much. It's a fun mode for some people, but for me, I don't find it that much fun. So if you're able to get the cube from the roguelike mode, that's her best cube. But if you want just standard options, Long Night Talk is still a fantastic option. It also still gives you Incantation Might comparably to what the cube gives. This also give you attack up, which is still pretty good, and also damage dealt up, which stacks on top of the damage dealt up that she already provides to herself. So, pretty good. Some people have talked about Stray Off the Path for her. I don't recommend Stray Off the Path, and the reason being is because of its final effect here. While yes, if you have 1 target incantation skills, you get incantation might plus 12% and 6% crit damage. The problem is the final effect, which is removed after you cast a mass incantation. Yeah, that's not very good, because if you really wanted to keep the crit rate, crit damage, and incantation might bonus, you wouldn't want none of that to fall off. So I can't really say straight out the pass is a good option, honestly. I would also say knock on the door for running her with burn support. Like if you're running her with Isolde, for example, which is actually a considerable option because she is reality. You can run this on her instead, just as you can get the incantation might bonus on her follow, because she is going to be the DPS of the team. So you can definitely run this and get critical rate as well, and 28% incantation might. So pretty good. Of course, we talked about Long Night Talk, and of course we have the very, very goated Blabshimmer of Night as a fine option. Now, let's talk about her portrait. So portraits, it's really just a lot of damage, but P1 is a pretty good one, because whenever an ally loses 10% of HP, you get additional damage bonus up to 75%, as opposed to a max of 60. So pretty nice. P2, for each HP loss suffered by an ally whenever it takes it now deals 45% additional damage for a true revealed, which again makes her follow-up hit a little bit harder, which is really nice. And P3, within a Feral Instinct status, the base modifier of the true reveal instead of 80 will be 120. Signature floppy is boosted by a hell of a lot, honestly. 630 on a final mod for a 3-star skill. Pretty sick, honestly. Pretty sick. And P5, and of course now deals an additional 60% for every time an ally loses an action. Now, should you go for any dupes? Now, P2 is a really good one, honestly, because of that extra 50% mod and how quickly you can stack it up with certain teams. But for general purposes, again, mostly every unit is fine at P0. I've had a lot of people ask me this question, but no, P0 is fine, completely good. And this is what I have for residences. This is what I have on mine. And yeah, it's a standard crit. I used to say attack is fine on her, but as we've changed since the time she's released since 1.9 as opposed to where we are now in 2.5, we've obviously just gone straight to crit. There's really no point in investing in just pure attack anymore. But yeah, so should you invest in Semmelweis? Honestly, I would consider it. I wouldn't consider it, but there is 2 things I would consider it for. One, if you have her proper supports. If you have Pickles and Eternity, then picking up Semmel isn't bad. Now, for the people who may throw a tomato and say that's a stupid idea, she's free, why do that? If you guys don't know, if you're a newer player to the game, Semmelweis was given out for free. This was in patch 1.9 to celebrate the game's first anniversary. Just simply log in, you get Semmel for free. Now, for people who don't have her, because obviously they missed out, Semmelweis is actually a pretty good AoE attacker. However, there's another AoE attacker coming in patch 2.6, Recoleta, who is also mineral, who shares one of Semmelweis' supports, and is actually pretty broken. So, if you wanted Semmel because you wanted a good AoE attacker, or you just love Semmelweis as a character, then she's still a considerably fine option. However, Recoleta is an insanely fine option. Recoleta is a very strong character. I'll probably be talking about her more in depth when I talk about her, if I can pull her and I can do the showcase and everything. But Recoleta is very strong. And to pull her over like Semmelweis, you may not be using Semmelweis too much after the fact once Rico comes in, because Rico is going to be a lot more stronger, a lot more easier to get into, especially with some of the options he has to run for teammates. So it's really hard because Semmel getting a official single banner now, right when the kind of the most strongest mineral DPS is coming shortly right after, it's a bit of a slap to the face of the people who would have really wanted Semmel, honestly. I feel bad for the people who did want Semmel, but if you're a fan of Semmel as a character, whether you did the roguelike story or you just like her design, I can't really fault you if you pull. I can't really fault you. Hey, I'm gonna be like, hey, go off my king, go off my queen, do what you gotta do. But if you want to save your pulls for more of a considerable option, don't pull Semmelweis. I'm sorry. Just do not pull her. If you're looking for more of a meta option, just pull Recoleta instead. And yeah, they just go from there. But that's going to be it. That's going to be kind of the general TLDR of how you should play Semmelweis. Let's go to a showcase, and I'll see you guys in just a bit. Alright, so this is the team that we're going to be using her with today. This is pretty much her premium team. This is her best in slot team. It's a mono mineral team, but the best in this team is because Pickles provides you with insane bonuses because he is a mineral follow-up support bot, which of course means he'll give you crit rate, crit damage, he'll give you penetration rate, rousing morale, and leech rate. So he's giving a lot of stuff to Semmelweis, which is very important because she is a mineral unit who also has a follow-up, which means he gets all the buffs. Babel, who gives you 1% crit rate bonus for every 300 points of her shield. So basically, a little extra crit rate bonus is there. Also, our form of sustain. And Eternity will give us crit rate, crit damage the more lower our HP goes until 50%, which is I think is a total of 20% crit rate and 20% critical damage, which is nice. Now, for our first turn, we always want to just buff attack. We will do this, and then we will just buff up with Babel. So from there on, this is kind of just a rotation. You want to consistently get yourself in a rhythm of at least getting 2 actions with Semmel. If you're unable to, then that's totally fine. Again, it's not like you have to kind of be inconsistent with your actions, so it really just depends. So let's get hit us with a hard-hitting attack. Now we're going to Semmel first, and then we're going to Ashen Beast. Now, the reason why this is important is because Ashen Beast will also consume your HP, which will, 1, power up the follow-up for this turn. And, actually, can I reroll? I'm going to see if I can get an attacking card. Okay, that's perfect. This is going to make Pickles dispel preemptively, so that is what we're going to do. So we're going to Ashen Beast now. We're going to this buff, reshield up, and just go from there. So we want to Ashen Beast after Semmel's ult because that way we can start accumulating the bloodthirst effect. So we want to gather that immediately because we want a strong follow-up. As you can see, you see the bloodthirst going up. This is a good way for us to do it without having to expand our skills on Eternity. So we're at 18, 20. So now we essentially have a max mod here. This is a maximum modifier. As it does 61k. Not bad. So no attacking card on Semmel, so I want to reroll here. If we get double action, that's fine. So we will we'll commit to the double action. We'll this, and then we will just this. So this is really cool because whenever Semmel buffs, he's gonna dispel, which is really sick because that means you don't have to waste an action of like dealing reduced damage, so to speak. So there's that. Get the nasty wound, nice. Only 6 stacks on this one, so it won't deal too much crazy damage there, but I want to maybe see if I can maybe go for, we could re-extend up the buff. Honestly, doesn't seem like a bad idea because that means we can get a stronger follow-up. So let's do this. I kind of want to go double. Eternity here though, to force up some more bloodthirst. But I also want to do a skill with Babel because that will give me her ult, and that extra chip is gonna help me out actually. So I think I'll go the Babel route because I kind of want to get that extra chip going. There we go, just get a little extra chip. And we'll just throw in that skill for him. Now we can get the damage delta bonus coming from Pickles' ult, which is really good. Since we have a newly refreshed shield, or never mind, we don't. No, I won't be able to do the thing I was gonna do. But it's fine. Do we have signature floppy? We don't have signature floppy. So we can buff attack. This is this tower, and then we don't have shield though. We don't have a shield. I mean, we have a shield that comes off of Ashen Beast. So we'll let this rock. I don't know why I couldn't just English there for a sec. And then this is gonna give us like a small shield. Yeah, very small shield. But we survive. How? Good question. Anyway. Alright, ooh, 50k. Oh, that's because we got rousing morale too. And yeah, we missed out on the follow-up effect because he's gonna take no damage this turn. So he's gonna do his ult. I love how Semmelweis Rayfield is just there chilling in any animation. Alright, so now this is where Dutien goes from kind of pushover to actual threat. So we need the lock in. Alright, so we can do this. We can Blood Domain next turn. And what do I want to do here? Who is looking capable? We'll just do Pickles. Get him closer to our ult. Okay, Waz and morale. Boom. 32k on the hit, which is pretty good. No crit, so that dealt a little less damage, which is unfortunators. Do we have another buff? Yeah, we have our shield. I guess we're fine. And we could either do Pickles hold next turn, or we can just keep the pressure going with Eternity. So 4. That's 6. That's 7. 8. And that is 12, I think. Or 10, because somebody was below 50. 56k. Not bad. Not bad at all. That hurt? Chutian, please. Please, my brother. I'm sorry for calling you mid. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for calling you mid. Alright, buff, sure. We have no double action here with Semmel, so that's fine. Okay, there we go. I was like, why is this not proccing? Alright, this. I guess this, and then this, sure. So we'll buff here. That will cause him to dispel. Good. We at least have shields coming from what's the name here, so I guess that's fine. But we have a near max mod here on Semmel. 62k. Ooh, on a level 1. That was 150k in one turn. As I said before, she can hit some really good numbers. Alright, we definitely need to go for a powered up shield here. I was gonna try to reroll, but nah, fam. We can do this for Eternity just to kind of help her get up something. And then we could try to push for another ult with you. We have one more turn on Blood Domain, which is completely fine. Pickles is completely keeping Dutien in check, by the way. If you are attempting to stage without Pickles, oof. Oof. I mean, you can do it. I think you can do it with Necro, but that seems very AP intensive. Alright, bet. So we're good now. Yep. Yep. Semmel got dazed. Panic, kind of. We don't have a cleanser, so that's kind of what's gonna have to happen here. So we'll just have to let that rock. I'll go for another level 2 shield though, because I need that right about now. I mean, this technically means I get to keep my Rising Morale, I guess. I can get an additional stack. So kinda good, kinda good. We'll do this just because we can pop roll and a little bit of Genesis damage in there. Shield held through. We will follow up. We'll do a little bit of chip. We'll follow up again. So we're still looking good. Despite possible danger that we're in. Alright, so one action only, that's fine. We can do one action only. This Ashen Beast all 3 times. This and yeah. No shield's gonna suck though. I mean, we have a baby shield at least. It's gonna get bad if we hit the 15 turn mark. So long as we're consistently keeping up with the DPS, we should be able. Ooh, 85k. You go, Semmelweis. Okay, shield up. Perfect. Oh yeah. We're good. We're good this turn. We're absolutely goated. I don't know why I just had to do that. My voice is literally dying. Lamau me, Lamau. Alright, so we'll shield up again because Semmel's shield died, and again, you want everyone to be shielded here. $30k. Strike Thunder on me. That's good. So we can shield up. Strike Thunder on me again. Again, fine. Again, we're fine. So, 2 fine turns in a row. No Semmel cards, which we need. We can do just 1 this turn, because, you know, we're going to have ult anyway. That's a waste of Moxie. We can Babble. And we can maybe Pickles. I think Pickle gets ult next turn, I believe. With his Moxie effect, I believe. Alright, here we go. Rising Morale. Poke for 30. Doink. 20k. Small. Alright, there we go. Here comes the big attack. We survived it. Very based. And we got the timely effect on shield. And we have our full stack going, which is great, because you already know what that means. We're getting a strong follow-up this turn. Just over our turn 15. Amazing. Let me see. This Ashen Beast all 3 times to give us that effect. This, we don't have an attacking card here, but it's fine. It's honestly fine. I mean, if anything, this means I get to use my Rosin Morale on the follow-up specifically, so I guess it technically means that's okay. That's okay. And whoo, 150k. That's what the rosin round. Holy shite. Oh man, we were definitely gonna cook there. But yep, that is 250-1 cleared too. But we already had it cleared. So, but anyway, yeah, that's Semmelweis. Again, she's a good character now compared to where she debuted. Patch 1.9, she was considered as an like, I guess I say underrated. She was underrated. She was a free underrated character who, over the course of time, kind of got shelved into sub DPSing because of Jay. But now that Jay is kind of fizzled, Semmel now takes over because of the prominent supports that we now have. So obviously Eternity really helped empower her performance. Babel really helped as a great sustain. And of course Pickles being such a good shoe-in for follow-up mineral characters, or even just mineral characters in general. So yeah. But if you want my honest opinion on pulling Semmelweis, I can honestly say no. The big reason that I don't recommend people should pull Semmel is because Recoleta is coming. Now, if you don't care too much about meta, then literally do not care about what I'm about to say. Don't care. But Recoleta is a very strong character. She's a candidate with kind of like being the AoE version of Windsong, where she does exceptionally high levels of damage if properly geared with the right team and setup at P0. This is kind of devious for the devs to give us a Semmelweis official banner after, I mean when she's kind of like looming around the corner. It kind of sucks, unfortunately. My big concern with it is that if people do pull Semmel and then pull Rico right after, they're like, well, I don't have any use for Semmel because Rico's going to be the indefinite better. But of course, it really just depends on the supports. If you have Rico's best supports being like Pickles, Lapera, if you have those options, then Rico sounds a lot better. But if you have like these lower units, because all of Semmel's best teammates are older units. Pickles is from 1.1, Babel and Eternity are both from 1.0. If you have them old characters and you can actually get their Euphorias, then Semmel would still actually be a good unit to pick up because you have a full team for them. You just have to have the Euphoria mats for the other three characters, right? But if you have the more newer units, then it is what it is. It is what it is. You can actually go Rico instead, and that actually performs a little bit better for you. But it's up to you, and that's what I'll say about that purposely. But anyway, this has been your boy Jet Stingren. I'll see you guys next time with more Reverse 1999. Peace.